After studying this module, you shall be able to conceptualize disability, learn about the challenges to discuss disability, appreciate qualitative method as an effective research tool for people with disability, comment on the need to emphasize social justice, illustrate obstacles researchers might face to maximize involvement of people with disabilities in research, limitations of qualitative methods on disability research. How a society treats its disabled is the true measure of a civilization. Chen Guangchen. The world indeed has come a long way in its interpretation of the disabled. On the third day of December, every year millions of people come together and stand united to encourage better understanding of people with disability, raise awareness about the rights, dignity and welfare of the disabled, and to promote a holistic inclusion and integration of disabled persons into every aspect of life, ranging from economic, political, social to cultural. This day is marked as International Day for People with Disability. According to WHO, roughly about 15% of the world population accounts for people with disability. In numbers, this turns out to an enormously large group of around 1 billion people. Henceforth, also called as the world's largest minority, about 80% of these live in developing countries. The World Bank estimates that 20% of the poorest people in the world suffer from some kind of disability and often are the most disadvantaged group of their own communities. Disability coupled with gender, women and girls has a manifold increase in disadvantage and social exclusion. Women and girls with disabilities are often abused. In a small 2004 survey research in Orissa, India carried out by the organization Disabled World suggests that virtually all the women and girls with disabilities were beaten at home. 25% of the women with intellectual disabilities had been raped and 6% of women with disabilities had been forcibly sterilized. The UNICEF estimates about 30% of the street youths have come for disability or the other. The quality of life with disability is adversely affected. About 90% of children with disability in developing countries are deprived of primary school education, let alone enrollment in higher studies. According to UNDP, the global literacy rates in adults and with disabilities are as low as 3% for men and around 1% for women with disabilities. This is according to the 1998 UNDP study. Unemployment is another area where persons with disability are hugely disadvantaged and are often unable to hold a stable economic foundation. This results from a mentality that disabled people are unequipped or cannot work. According to International Labour Organization, 80% of disabled people in developing countries are unemployed. In India, where around 6% of the population is disabled, employment rates are extremely low and financial needs are unmet. According to a survey carried out by National Center for Promotion of Employment for Disabled People, in spite of 3% reservation in government jobs granted by the People with Disabilities Act, only a handful have managed to grab this opportunity. Figuratively, of 70 million persons with disability in India, only 1 lakh are working as government employees. While the above statistics gives us a glimpse into the challenges of the disabled world, defining disability itself is a Herculean task. The next section discusses the concept of disability and the challenges to conceptualize it. Defining disability. During the Middle Ages, disability was conceptualized in metaphysical terms. People had a remarkable different lens to view people who were incomplete or in some demonic possession. The physical and behavioral differences were often subjected to inhuman treatment and social exclusion, so much so that there were records where exorcism was employed to turn the person back to normal. The major paradigmatic shift was observed to understand disability when there was a quest for knowing underlying biological causes for physical and mental differences. This gave rise to the modern conceptualizations of the term disability. The era of modern enlightenment emphasized on knowledge derived from reason and much value was placed findings of the natural sciences. This gave impetus to the one of the most prevalent discourse on disability, that is the clinical or medical model of disability. The WHO in 1980 described a framework for disability using three terms: impairment, handicap, and disability. Impairment refers to any physical deformities or loss or abnormality of physical bodily structure or function of logic, psychic origin or physiological or anatomical origin. Handicap refers to the disadvantaged condition deriving from impairment or disability limiting a person performing a role considered normal in the respect of their age, sex, and social and cultural factors. Disability refers to any limitation or function loss deriving from impairment that prevents the performance of an activity in the time lapse considered normal for a human being. The medical model of disability. According to WHO, disabilities is an umbrella term covering impairments, activity limitations, and participation restrictions. An impairment is a problem in behavioral function or structure. An activity limitation is a difficulty encountered by an individual in executing a task or action, while a participation restriction is a problem experienced by an individual in involvement in life situations. The emphasis of the above thus lays on the intrinsic locality of disability. However, with growing emphasis on environmental factors, it is rather debatable if disability is within or without. The social dialogue highlights the barriers present in the disabled person's environment. Locating disability without the social model of disability. According to Grant Carson, the social model of disability discusses the barriers created for the disabled people as they have restricted access to social resources. Also, it discusses the negative attitudes and discrimination that the non-disabled people have towards the disabled. The two combined together aggregates the handicap and discomfort experienced by these individuals. Disability is therefore just not a health problem, it is a complex phenomenon that reflects interaction between physically different features of a person's body and features of the society in which he or she exists. Disability, a shadow of ability? Be it the medical or the social model of disability, one of the essential foundations of our understanding of the term disability is its constant comparison to the norm. The term disability in itself encompasses that what is abled, something that is normal in all its proportionalities and the completeness. Henceforth, to construct disabled, there are direct needs to build physical and social norms. Much of the understanding that we have today originates from the plethora of positivist empirical researches that have been done on the disabled individuals. The quantitative paradigm is well equipped to address the dichotomy of what is normal and abnormal or abled and disabled. Following are the advantages of using quantitative methods in disability research. Helps in creation of categories, empirical estimation of number of people affected, development of wide-scale interventions. Normal curve depicting levels of intellectual ability and disability. However, the quantitative paradigm often fails to address the challenges to define disability as it differs from culture to culture, also from one individual to the other. With a generalized viewpoint on disability, little light is reflected on the lived experiences of people with disability. The following section addresses the challenges and obstacles to define and conceptualize disability. Challenges to define disability. Disability is difficult to define as it is not merely absence of abilities or skills, but represents a multidimensional concept with both objective and subjective characteristics. When interpreted as an illness or impairment, disability is seen as fixed in an individual's body or mind. When interpreted as a social construct, disability is seen in terms of socio-economic, cultural and political disadvantages resulting from a person's exclusion. One of the major challenges to define disability is the diverse and different connotation it holds from one culture to another. In an international context, discourse on cultural beliefs and values about disability have influenced services available to people with disabilities across countries and localities. What might be a norm in one society can be looked down upon in the other. Qualitative methods, in contrast to quantitative researches, are interested in knowing how things that mirror the cause-effect relationship. This paradigm of research believes that in the fact that there is no single truth but in existence of different realities, each defined by the experiences of the experiencer. Thus, the focal point of qualitative researches is realities as they lived by the individuals, the lived experiences. This philosophical viewpoint challenges the viewpoint of positivist socially oriented data and the demands an alternative set of methods for exploring people's perception, one that is contextually and culturally related. It therefore seeks to find the answer to questions about the meaning and individual interpretation of life. It is used to answer open questions relating to people's attitudes and beliefs in given contextual setting. The 5 traditions of qualitative methods, namely narrative, phenomenological, grounded, case study and ethnography, aid a researcher to inquire in depth and enable him to build insight bridges to various facets of disability. The lived reality. Qualitative methods interact. They appreciate and highlight subjectively just as that in which we experience the reality. Every individual has his own version of reality that can be radically different from what the other might be experiencing. The positivist approach finds subjectivity as erroneous and emphasizes on the value-free objective understanding of phenomena. In contrast, the lives of individuals are highly value-driven, and thus it would not be a good idea to address humans devoid of values in an experimentally created vacuum. Human race is diverse, and so are the disabled communities. Unifying our understanding of disability under one category would only present the tip of the iceberg. Addressing lived realities where an individual's beliefs and actions intersect with culture can thus fathom the challenges of culturally conceptualizing disability, something which the 2 models discussed above failed to do. Disability research must challenge oppression, but it is not easy to engage with such lofty obligations in the political world of everyday research. the transformative research. According to Mertens, Sullivan and Stace, qualitative methods can promote transformative research for social justice. They quote an excerpt from New Zealand Ministry of Health that emphasizes the need to conceptualize disability. According to them, disability is not something people have. What people have are impairments. They may be physical, sensory, neurological, psychiatric, intellectual and other impairments. Disability is a process which happens when one group of people create barriers by designing a world only for their way of living, taking no account of impairments other people have. The above notion leads to many psychological and social presumptions that may adversely affect people who do not fit with the majority. As simple as roadside constructions are usually abled friendly instead of including disabled as a part of the whole. The qualitative methods, by their virtue of highlighting that which cannot be generalized, can bring forth the realities of hardships and struggle experienced by the disabled communities. This can prove as transformative and emancipatory as the investigators can negotiate within and among disability groups to establish appropriate processes to consider and determine criteria for deciding how to meet cultural imperatives, social needs and priorities. Being aware of critical diversities, researchers can identify challenges that majority groups can face while dealing with people with disability. This is important as it can provide us with perilous insights while policy making. According to Mertens, disability communities are also threatened by eugenic potential of developments in genetics and other technology. This can neurotype and genetically homogenize our understanding of disorders and disabilities, thus rejecting the eccentrically diverse and creative experiences of people. Collaborating with disabled people also leads to feelings of self-worth and esteem. Qualitative methods thus enable researchers and participants to fully realize human rights and social justice. However, according to Mertens, Sullivan and Stace, the transformative paradigm of qualitative methods provides a better way to develop training and therapeutic programs. Seeing beyond the social labels. The quantitative paradigm firmly believes in creating labels that at times can be existentially and emotionally demeaning. Especially the term disability refers to the incomplete and inferior self as compared to others. The emotional loadings of such labels can thus further reduce the efficiency and may also result in social exclusion. On the other hand, as quantitative methods look for subjective perceptions of people and their lived realities, one can appreciate differences in a better manner. Appreciating diversity again is emancipatory and transformative. The research methods such as ethnography or case study interviews not only enable a researcher to look at participants as they are rooted in context, but critically comment on the social ills and handicaps as they are culturally constructed. Hence, adopting a qualitative lens can turn a disabled to a differently abled person with his unique qualities. This reconceptualization is ethically and morally more appropriate than the former as it looks beyond the stereotypes. Qualitative studies allow the researchers to have an empathetic stance. An empathic stance in interviewing seeks vicarious understanding without judgment by showing openness, sensitivity, respect, awareness and responsiveness. In observation, it means being fully present, mindfulness. Empathy can be defined as feeling and knowing as the other feels and knows. In disability researches, empathy can help build the relationship and trust between the researcher and the participant, thus bridging the gap left by the quantitative studies. Also, feeling the stories as they narrate their lived experience can be therapeutic, further increasing the authenticity with which research can be carried out. Limitations of qualitative methods in disability research. The qualitative paradigm offers a lucrative package over holding a positivist viewpoint on disability. Nonetheless, one should not be restricted by the utopian outlook and should be able to critique and address the challenges that come to the fore on adopting a method for the research. By and large, qualitative methods highlight the subjectivities and provide us with a deeper understanding of the lived realities of people who are physically, mentally, or socially different from the majority. However, the 5 traditions of qualitative research, that is the narrative, grounded, phenomenological, case study and ethnography, highlight and depend heavily on the oral descriptions by the participants. Language thus plays an essential role in carrying out these researches. A researcher might experience or encounter situations where communications are neither easy nor effective. Therefore, subjects who are more articulate in their narrative descriptions have an added advantage putting forth their stories. On the other hand, people with disabilities, especially those with speech and hearing impairments, may fall short on this. Furthermore, persons with mental deficits such as severe mental retardation or autism again may not be articulate and as good an orator as compared to people with normal mental functioning. Hence, ambiguities in the languages need to be addressed carefully. Summary. According to WHO, roughly about 15% of the world population accounts for people with disability. During the Middle Ages, disability was conceptualized in metaphysical terms. People had a remarkable different lens to view people who were incomplete or in some demonic possession. A major paradigmatic shift was observed to understand the disability when there was a quest for knowing underlying biological causes for physical and mental differences. Disability is difficult to define as it is not merely absence of abilities or skills but represents a multi-dimensional concept with both objective and subjective characteristics. When interpreted as an illness or impairment, disability is seen as fixed in an individual's body or mind. Qualitative methods, in contrast to quantitative researches, are interested in knowing how of things that mirror the cause-effect relationship. This paradigm of research believes in the fact that there is no one single truth but an existence of different realities. Human race is diverse and so are the disabled communities. Unifying our understanding of disability under one category would only present the tip of the iceberg. According to Mertens, disability communities are also threatened by eugenic potential of developments in genetics and other technology. This can neurotype and genetically homogenize our understanding of disorders and disabilities. Qualitative studies allow the researchers to have an empathic stance. An empathic stance in interviewing seeks vicarious understanding without judgment by showing openness, sensitivity, respect, awareness, and responsiveness. In observation, it means being fully present.